Oish. So the Rebbe is now going to continue to explain that we're learning that the hamshoche that comes to Torah from the higher than Hishtalshelus, as brought down before from the Torah of the Rav HaMagid, that we learn out that it's from Tefillah, when Bitfilosei, as he said, that when Moshe Rabbeinu davened for Miriam, and through them, through the level, he said Kale, which is the first of Yud Gimel Mitzvah Rachamim, and then this was Mamshech, the level of Torah, which is Kal V'chomer. That's not a coincidence, as the Rebbe is going to explain now. This is very specific. The Rebbe first explains now that from everything, what is that? There is no coincidence at all. But within Torah itself, sometimes there are things that are more clearer, which means the Torah itself wants it to be clear that it comes from above, and sometimes it comes as a lesson. So the Rebbe is going to explain that here there's a clear message from the fact that we learn out the Torah in a way of Kal V'chomer, and it tells us actually that the level of Torah is even higher than the level that we're mamshech through Tefillah. Even though we're learning out Torah from Tefillah as a Kal V'chomer, but this is Kal, Tefillah, and Torah is Chomer, which means it goes up even in a higher place through the level of Torah. Listen beside you do a Torah Baal Shem Tov. It's known the teaching of the Baal Shem Tov. The Kol Mash Adam Roya Oishemeya. Anything that a person sees or hears, who Hoyro Ba'avedus Hashem is a lesson, and Avedus Hashem is service of Hashem. But the Magid is Moshe adds, Moshe would have a Magid to the teaching of the Baal Shem Tov, not only what one sees or hears, but Shekol Mashereya V'Shemeya V'Chol Mikra Sheyikra La'odom, and anything that happens, he sees and he hears, or whatever happens to a person who b'shvil avodas Hashem, that it's because for the service of Hashem. Rabir Bozeh, and the explanation is Kigam Kol Mikra U'B'Hashgacha Protis. Whatever happens is by divine providence. The Rebbe wants to bring out with regards to the Mikra over here, what happens here with the limud of Torah and Tefillah. So if we say that every happening is Hashgacha Protis, but the word Mikra in itself implies that it just happened, that it's not divinely orchestrated. Why do we call this happen? That here below in this world, it comes across, it comes down in a way of happening. An example for it, if you happen to come across a nest of birds in front of you, so what does it mean happens? Nothing really happens, but over here, our sages say that this halacha applies only if you chanced on a bird's nest, but prat lemezuman excludes that which has been prepared. So here we see clearly that there is sometimes something referred to as happened, a chance, and sometimes something that is prepared. But we're saying that everything is b'hashgacha pratis. Everything, there is no chance. The Hagam shekol ha'inyonim heim b'hashgacha pratis, even though that all matters are by divine providence. You say to Mizu, and it's even more than just divine providence regularly, but say to Mizu, they are prepared all the ways from the earliest thought of the Adam Kadmon. So still the pasuk says, That it'll chance this nest of the bird, and this excludes if it has been prepared. So, how is that? There are certain matters that the intention of above comes to their completion, wholesomeness, in a way that also below it comes down in a way it's not a chance, but below it's in a way that is prepared. We have the prat l'mezuma. But there's some aspects in which the intent in them is completed, that below they come up as a chance happening ki ikar. Move on from this one, understand so we understand for sure. The Rebbe brings us to say there's no chances in Torah. For sure, the matters of Torah. Shekol haprotim sheba. All the details in Torah. Even if externally they appear to be just by the way a happening, there's a lesson. The Rebbe says, according to this, yesh loima, we can say now that we know that everything is specific divinely and there's a reason. That why is this that which of the Torah measures do we learn from tefillah? We connected before the Torah said Magid that when you said Moshe Rabbeinu said Kel no, it came to the first midah of Kal v'chomer. Why specifically in Torah Kal v'chomer? There's a reason. There's a divine. It means the Zeh Sha'amidah Yud Gimel Amidah Shebetoira Shenim Shecha Yud Gimel Midah Sarach Moshe B'Tfilah. Midas Kal v'chomer is the measure of Kal v'chomer. To teach us that while we're learning Torah from tefillah, but it's in a way of a kal v'chomer. Although we've already determined that the hamshacha v'gimel hamizrachmim is main in the davening, and through that the hamshacha comes also in Torah, as the Rebbe explained earlier. There is an advantage in the hamshacha that comes from Torah, legabe hamshacha shebitfila, relative to the hamshacha that comes through the davening. Al derech midas kal v'chomer, because this is the Torah's kal v'chomer. Dagam she'achomur l'meidi mehakal. Although the more serious one we learn, since the kal, we learn the chomer from the kal. Mekomakoim u'chomur legabe hakal. But still, it's more stringent than the kal. So, what we learn from tefillah for Torah, but in Torah it's more chum, it's higher. Because Mamer, as explained in the Mamer, that we learn out that you bring down an uncomparable hamshocha, which is totally not compared to the halach through Torah the Rabbim. B'hamshocha shel ayidei tefillah the Rabbim. So he says in the Mamer, who limud boifin the mekolshke kal v'chomer, that it's a kolshke and a kal v'chomer. If it's so by tefillah, for sure it's so by Torah. So Torah's chomer. How is Torah chomer? In what way? So the idea is over here that the Rebbe compares this to the chiluk between bracha and tefillah. That tefillah is the person is below and asks. By bracha, he's on top and he's mamshich, he forces down. The chiluk by Torah tefillah, the chiluk by Torah hu al derech chiluk by bracha tefillah. This is similar to the difference between bracha and tefillah. The betefillah hamispalel who lamated by bracha and tefillah is that by davening The one who davens is below. He asks that they should give him the flow from above. But when we talk about a bracha, we're not talking about any time of bracha, but we're talking about the one who has the power to bless. The blessing that comes from one who has the power to bless. Just as the Kohanim who have been given the power of blessing. How do they bless? They are higher than the source from where the bracha comes. And they instruct, they command that the hamshacha should be below. So the kohen is in a spot which is higher than the source of the bracha. He commands the bracha to come down because he's not in the bottom like by tefillah asking for it, but he's on top and pushing it down. He can mamshich it lamata. Like we say in Birchas Kohanim. It's a language of instruction. So now, it's just like this is by Beracha versus Tefillah. Similar is the Hamshachas, the Hashpois that come through Torah. The Kivon Shekeser Torah who Hefker Lakoil, anybody. Keser Malchus, Keser Kuna have designated recipients, but Keser Torah is Hefker Lakoil. Anybody who wants can go ahead and earn the Keser Torah. I have a quote from the Rambam over here. Anybody who wants to. So anybody, any Jewish person can merit in the Torah through learning Torah. She nasis Torah, so he becomes his Torah. That limit. The nase he becomes sort of an owner. He has ownership, so to speak, on the Torah. For sure, over what is being nimshach to the Torah to be commanding, like by the bracha, to command the hamshacha milmayla to come down the matter. There's another Maila in the Birchas Kohanim. Shehamshocha, the Birchas Kohanim, imil Maila meishtalshlus. So the Birchas Kohanim comes from higher than ishtalshlus, and tefillah is within hishtalshlus. The bracha bechlali lahamshich ma shekvar nimtze b'hamokim v'loy davar chodesh. What is bracha generally is to bring down that which is already there in the source, but just you're pushing it down, but it's not you're creating a new. Unlike by davening, the inyan zeh ma'ila b'tefillah l'gabe bracha. This is an advantage of tefillah over bracha. Sha'idei tefillah naser rotzon chodesh. It's not there yet. It's become something new. You make a new will. You hear Ratzin to be a Ratzin Chodesh. Ubebirchas Kohanim, Shtei HaMailas. But the Birchas Kohanim has both of these Mailas. Sham Shocha, Hi Mil Mailo, Mishtalshlus. So, Bracha gives you Hishtalshlus because it's there already. Tefillah gives you higher than Ishtalshlus, Ratzon Chodesh. And Birchas Kohanim has both Mailas. But Birchas Kohanim Shtei HaMailas both together. Sham Shochi Mil Mailam Ishtalshlus. It comes from above Ishtalshlus. And it comes over Derech Tzivui. And so you're getting like the Maila of Tefillah, but it's also not like the other Mamsha, but it's a command in which you get from the higher than Ishtalshlus. Similarly, is the Hamshocha of the higher than Ishtalshlus, of the Yud Gimel Midos. Sheyesh bo shtei hamaylos, it has the two advantages. Hamshocha hi milmaylo meishtalshlus, The Hamshocha is from higher than Ishtalshlus, and in a way of command. And this is the advantage of what comes down through the Torah Rabbim, Lagabe Hamshocha Shal Dei Tefillah Rabbim, relative to the Hamshocha which comes to the prayer of the Rabbim. The Hamshocha Shal Dei Torah Ba'ifon Shu Balabayis Al Hamshocha. When it comes down to Torah, is in a way that he is in charge of the Hamshocha, like by bracha, like he commands, and this is the advantage of Torah over the Hamshocha that we get from Tefillah, just like the advantage of the Birchas Kahanim, which has both milas over the level of Tefillah. Now, Yud Aleph. Still, the Rebbe wants to bring out that we still have this connection that when we have the Hamshocha, the Hamshocha that what we accomplish through Torah is actually an improvement on the Hamshocha that we have on Tefillah. The Rebbe says we see that in Tefillah we have the Birchas Kahanim. Let's look aside. Although Birchas Kahanim is an independent mitzvah, so we could have just any time in the day or whatever to have this blessing of the Kahanim. Chachamim made it part of the Tefillah. Tefillah is not on the madrege of the Birchas Kahanim, as we said before. First of all, it's bracha, and on top of them, which is high on top of them, it's Birchas Kahanim, which because it gets milmaylo meishtalshelus. So why does this higher level of Birchas Kahanim, why did they set it up inside in Tefillah, in davening? So from this understood. So that although Tefillah is milmat l'maylo, mikol mokoim, al yidei tefillah, yet is this through the davening, mahashgim lahamshocha the birchas kahanim, we reach the hamshocha birchas kahanim she milmaylo lamata. We come to that hamshocha milmaylo lamata. Bapizeh yesh lahoisim bal limud the kalpa chaymer. So based on this, we can also add in the limud of the Kal V'Chomer that we're learning in the Chomer of the of learning. The Kamosh at Tefillah Birchas Kahanim, just like by Tefillah Birchas Kahanim, Agam Shem Inyonim Shenim, even though they're separate matters, Birchas Kahanim and Tefillah. The Tefillah, Ibakosha Milmat L'Maylo Tefillah is Milmat L'Maylo Birchas Kahanim Etzivu. Milmaylo L'Mato, that is the Tzivu from above to below. And through the Tefillah yet, Magim L'Birchas Kahanim, we reach the Birchas Kahanim. Al Derachzeu, but Torah Tefillah, same thing is Torah Tefillah. Nagam Sham Shochad Yud Gimel Midasarach Mashallah Maila Mishtal Shloshal De Limudat Torah Mitzadas. When we talk what comes down, Yud Gimel Tzarachamim, that is higher than Ishtal Shlos through Torah by itself. Hilamato Mam Shochad Yud Gimel Mitzarach Mashallah De Tefillah is lower than the Hamshocha of Yud Gimel Tzarach. That Tefillah can also be said before. Now the Yud Gimel Tzarachim through Tefillah is higher than the Yud Gimel Tzarachim of Torah. Mikol Makoyim. Ayidei Limud HaTorah. Nimsheches Gam Hamshocha Achakach Gam Hamshocha Shayidei Tefillah Shelamaylo MeHamshocha Yud Gimel Tzarachim BeTorah. So later on, through Limud HaTorah, you can reach, just like the Tefillah reaches you to the Birchas Kahanim here. When we do the Limud HaTorah, which, and then later on comes through to Tefillah, is also the Hamshocha the Tefillah Shalomayla Hamshocha Gimel Tzarachim the Torah. That in the Gimel Tzarachim of the Torah we have the Hamshocha of Tefillah. Yesh lahoisif shegam limud zeh bev the Kal V'Chomer. Can add this also in a way of Kal V'Chomer. The tefillah he milmata l'mayla. Obichas koyanim he milmayla l'mato. And yet, Ba'afa became a day tefillah magil bichas kahanim. We just said that the tefillah was bichas kahanim was nistaken through in the davening. That means that the davening, which is milmata l'mayla, but still you reach the bichas kahanim. Hadn't been negayat Torah tefillah. So then, if you try to measure this up, Torah and tefillah, Shagam Hamshachah Torah mitzad atzma, also Torah by itself, Yud Gimel mitzrach mishel l'mayla mishtalshus. It's also l'mayla mishtalshus, even Torah alone. It's not at the same level as the Gimel mitzrach of tefillah. But Hamshachah zu l'mato, the Hamshachah di tefillah. It's lower than Hamshachah tefillah. So when we say that through Torah you also get that's a Kal V'Chomer. If tefillah gives you the level of Bichas Kahanim, through tefillah you get Bichas Kahanim. So for sure that through tefillah, that through the Torah we get the Hamshach of tefillah, because Torah is essentially closer to tefillah than Bichas Kahanim to tefillah. Bichas Kahanim and tefillah are two separate, Maila Mato, Mata L'Maila. And yet, through the tefillah, you come to Bichas Kahanim. So Torah and tefillah, which are more equal, so therefore, through Torah, that we're saying that through the Torah we also get tefillah, is a Koshka V'Chomer. Yesh Leimar, the idea that Torah hi Torah shel Adam, through Torah, which is the Torah of the person, or Isaac, but Torah shu balabayis kava yochal al Torah, he so to speak becomes an ownership of the Torah. Ayidei zeh unase balabayis gam al dargas ha'amshocha de tefillah she'mishachas b'Torah. He also becomes a balabayis on the level of the Hamshach of tefillah that goes into it. The Zohu Shalimu the Torah tefillah b'midas Kal V'Chomer, and that's why the limud of Torah and tefillah comes in a measure of a Kal V'Chomer. Ki Hamshocha b'tefillah shal yidei Torah, because that which comes in the tefillah through Torah, Yesh lo Yisrael l'gav Hamshocha b'tefillah b'tzad atzma, has an advantage of tefillah b'tzad atzma, because after it has the tefillah in the Torah, that's why that's a chomor, and the tefillah itself is kal. The base, v'shlohisif, v'idei ha-Mamer, asora sheyoshkin v'oskin b'Torah, shenita mibal ha-geula l'lomde v'chag ha-geula. Through this saying of asora sheyoshkin occupied in Torah, which has been given from the Bala Geula to learn Chag Geula, also as Kolecha the Shluchah Shel Bala Geula. So he made each one an agent of the Bala Geula, lasik being in Zeh, to occupy in this manner. The Nosim Lo in the Sinas Koyach V'Yuchedes Atzliach Bazeh, gave him a special Koyach to be successful. Atzlocha B'Syaz Shurim Berabim, success in organizing, setting up public classes. Success in all matters that are explained in the Mamer HaNimshochim, the Rabbim, which extend through the occupation of Torah and public. The whole Zeh be'oifen the Birchas Kahanim, it is all in a way like the Brech of Kahanim, Sham Shochas Abrachim be'oifen the Mehirus, But the bracha comes down in a way, a speedy way. As the Alter Rebbe explains in the Mamer, the special speed with which the brachas of the Kohanim, by Yigmel the Shkedim, Porach, the quickness, by Yidei Hashkedim Atoibim. So we also have the level of Kisheke Delikim, which is in the negative. But through these good almonds, the Yigmel Shkedim, the Mata'aran, Havchu Hashkedim Hamorim. So these bitter Shkedim, Gimel HaShavuos of the 3 weeks, the Sostim, the Simcha, the Geula HaMitzvah V'Hashleima, Yidei Mashiach Tzidkenu, B'Meira B'Yameinu, Mamash.